How are you?
No, you sit there. You sit there. Where do you want to sit?
No, I'll sit. We don't have to.
Oh,
Okay.
That's a little bit of help. That's great.
So let me just begin by saying that I thank you for coming on behalf of St. Paul's Episcopal Church. We're so glad to have all of you here today. I must say that in all honesty, I would never have imagined this day coming. Just over 2 years ago, some crazy dude approached me after service and said that he had this project he wanted to do of photography, and if I was willing to be part of it. You know, as I would say, as a clergy person, we have a lot of crazy people coming into our buildings offering to do a lot of different crazy stuff. So you never know if what they're saying is something that is real and is actually going to be able to happen. Just in case you wonder who that was, it was Nicola. So now that we're here, just over 2 years after that first conversation, and not only being able to see the photographs up on the wall, but also all the other work that we're going to be able to enjoy, not only today, but in the weeks and months to come. Thank you, Nicola, for bringing your crazy idea my way, and for now allowing us to host this today. So I am not going to try to explain to you who Jane, Michael, and Nicola are. I'm going to let them do that by themselves. And just so that you're aware, we are live streaming and recording this today, as I want them to be able to have this as a source of not only publicity but history as we move forward. And I can say from now, just from the interest that I've heard from people who have been here over the last week since these portraits have been up, that I hope that you're going to extend it beyond this, that you gain enough popularity that you're able to do this, not only for the city of Oakland, but other cities and places in our state, and maybe even around the country, because it is a very important project that, just from seeing it from the last week, is getting deeper into me, and I thank you for bringing it to us. So which of the two wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For those that have not met yet, my name is Nicola Sartorio. I'm a photographer, artist, educator, and a long-time Oakland resident, 20 plus years. I started this project back in the, first of all, sorry, let me take a step back. I would like to also express my heartfelt gratitude to Father Wilson, who said yes to this crazy proposal, and for believing in us and hosting in this amazing building, and also to Vicky and Richard, the Larson Power couple, for all the amazing help along the way, and always to my beloved wife for all their patience with this crazy guy that goes around taking pictures of churches instead of some startup business. So, as a long-time Oakland resident, I kept noticing these amazing buildings all around. Particularly the fact that before that I was living in Italy, and the picture there is very different. If you've been, it's obviously dominated by the Roman Catholic. There's typically only one church per town. And so I was attracted to this aspect of the city that I love, which is the great diversity, not just of ethnicities and cultures, but also specific about different faiths. So, for example, if you were driving down Seminary or International, you'll often see multiple churches many times literally next door to each other, which to me is amazing. This is something that is still impossible in my country, in different parts of the world. So when the lockdowns hit us, I realized, okay, maybe this is my chance to document this important cultural phenomenon that seems to be disappearing in front of our own eyes. You might not know this, but Oakland is actually the fastest de-churching city in the United States right now. And throughout the process, probably a good 10-20% of the location I recorded have been shut down, torn down, sold, repurposed. So during lockdown, I started photographing the buildings in a typological approach. Little did I know that I would end up having to travel to over 466 individual locations over several years. That part of the project is now complete. If you want, there's a mock-up of the book and the entrance. And we have a parallel show happening right now at Oakland City Hall for that part of the project. If you can, go check it out. The opening is December 10th, also from 4 to 5:30. We did it intentionally to match with the show here. As I was going around, sometimes the spiritual leader will come out and figure out, what is this guy doing? Why is he photographing my building? And so I would engage in conversations. And turns out that more often than not, they were really interesting people. And so I came to the realization that I had to expand the scope of the project to include environmental portraits of the spiritual leaders inside their place of worship. And for that part, I partnered with my good friend, Jay Michael, who's a very established photographer. And over a period of 2, 3, 4 years, we had it over 42 different locations. And what's unique is, as I just mentioned, both of us photographs. So I've seen the entrance, there's 2 portraits of Father Wilson. We see it as 2 entry points or 2 different perspectives. Another thing that happened along the way, when we engaged in conversations with the spiritual leaders, several of them were advancing their age and mentioned that as they would retire, not just the building would be sold, not only will all the physical record just be thrown in the dumpster, but also all their own personal history or oral history would be obviously lost. And so we decided to yet again expand the scope of the project and include recordings of audio interviews. So if you look around carefully, there are labels, and on each of these labels there's a little QR code. So if you scan that with your phone, swipe away the Spotify promotion, and you start to hear the voice of the person represented. So I'll keep it short, but to me, this project, which I approach in a secular fashion, is important because I hope that as you go around, it triggers a conversation, whether internal or external, about what it means to have faith, spirituality, and community in our contemporary environment, so much dominated by individualism, social media, and whatnot. And I would like, by closing, by saying that I personally believe that it's only when you have a solid understanding of our past and present, we can shape a better path towards tomorrow. And with that, I would like to pass it to my buddy, Jim.
This will be hard to follow. Just so you know, I only joined us to take pictures of clergy. That's what I thought I was signing up for. I'm J. Michael Tucker. I'm an advertising photographer out of the Bay Area. I've been shooting for millions of years, and one day during COVID, as a way to get busier, as a way to figure out what the heck to do and exercise, I joined Nicolo. He was photographing houses of worship, and that wasn't an interest of mine. But finding out who was in the house of worship, that was kind of the cool thing. So we began photographing, and I will preface as well, honey, thank you so much for believing in me. It's my wife, Karen, my son over there, Levi, and Pastor, thank you so much. This is too lovely of a location. This is the most amazing place to be. Nicolo, I appreciate you always for pushing. It's a great project. I'm glad we're still doing it. So what this has done for me, is, in general, I hate the word, but I poo-pooed religion and different ethnic backgrounds for years and years. I just joined this journey, and all of a sudden found, wow, we're alike. There's something special here. There's something really profound about meeting different groups and different religions. And what occurred on our journey is kind of the most amazing. I mean, from the hospitality that we were given, from having blackened catfish on a Sunday with one group, to having an imam fix us dinner, to having pupusas. We started to meet our community. We started to meet our culture, and it was quite exciting. It was the first time that I could sit back and go, there's something a little bit bigger than me. You know, and I'm the biggest. So all I can say is that this has been a spiritual journey for me. And there's a common denominator, there's a special word that has kept joining me, kept filling my head, and the word is faith. And I didn't think much of that word. I knew the word, but I think I'm understanding it more as I go on. That's it. I'm thrilled to be a part of this. This is just the coolest project, to meet people, to meet community, to walk into the bowels of the church, to get the access that we've been allowed to. I don't think very many people get this. So, that's it.
Of course, I can't just leave you sitting there. Does anybody have any questions? I saw that hand go up.
I was just curious how you divided up the photography aspect of the people of faith. Like, were you both photographing?
Yes.
Come to the
So,
Can you repeat the questions?
So the question was how we organized the capturing of the images. So as I mentioned, we did partner, not just to help each other, but also we both took picture every time. So the 42 session I mentioned is 42 individual times we went to different places, sometimes for 3-4 hours. And
Sometimes for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean,
depending if they had papas.
yeah.
And so, for example, like we would both go around, decide who wants to photograph where, and then one of us will go up for an hour or so, and the other one is helping, and then we switch role, and we see this as, it's been a little challenge presenting it in the art community, but it's two artists both taking pictures of the same subject, so it's two perspectives for each person.
The peer pressure about who got the better picture. Wow. It's really what helped make it good. We always pushed and we helped each other 100%. Holding lights, doing this, running around, filling in, whatever we had to do while that person was shooting. So it's just been a labor of love. It's been cool.
We also joked that we're like an old work couple, married couple, because we've shopped together for so many years that we already know what the other person is going for.
Oh, that's the worst is when he's got my shot. I'm like, oh, I had that shot. That was mine. That's the worst. And vice versa. Or then the worst is, I start to look like him. And I'm like, he goes, that's something I would have done. I'm like, oh. So we have
The second, or maybe the second aspect of this in terms of what we decided to show here, of course, we have a lot more. We try to be equitable in multiple ways of how to balance between male and female, between different faith beliefs. So it's not necessarily geographically based, it's more about having a mixture of things. We do have a lot of firsts in the room, so as I'm looking around, we have the first Asian female rabbi. I'm not sure if in the US or we have the first openly lesbian Latino female pastor, Rina Ramos, at the end. Of course, we have amazing Wilson. We have the first, I believe, openly gay Catholic pastor. Aiden, yeah. One of the definitely most fun and one that I invite all of you to visit if you get a chance is the Eritrean Orthodox. And it's like you're all of a sudden in another planet. Color everywhere, Black Jesus behind the altar, all the women in traditional attire, and of course they immediately invited us to have a 2-hour lunch.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you might have just answered that, but I had two questions. One was, how did you decide, among all the places of worship, how do you decide who you interviewed? And maybe just answer that. And my second question was, did you get any funding to support your work, or you just, it's all volunteer and you're out of your own work?
I'm sorry, what was the first question?
There's so many places.
How did you decide?
Oh, which ones? Yes. So it was a combination. Part of it goes back to your comment that there's a little bit of suspicion in the faith community, especially when you're not belonging to the congregation. So especially at the beginning, there was a lot of like, why are you and what do you want from me? And, so it took a few first people, like Father Wilson, to believe in us and start opening doors, and then it started rolling from there. The second aspect, again, is trying to have a fair representation. So we obviously started, I live in West Oakland, so we started with the Black Baptist, which is dominant in West Oakland, and we decided to pursue some of the Asian communities in Chinatown, Jewish community, the Eritrean Orthodox, expand with the scope. And, we would constantly be checking again how many males we have versus female, black versus white, et cetera, et cetera. Funding, I wish. No, it's all self-funded at the moment. We are slowly starting to think about grants, but at the moment it's all up.
It's a startup.
We're really good at losing money.
We're going to need a couple CEOs, yeah.
I'm just curious if you had anyone decline. Did you approach any church?
I will answer that.
I'm kind of curious.
We've had hundreds of no's. We've had 40 or 50 yeses. And the no's just kind of make us go a little harder. It's a little weird to walk into a Baptist church on a Sunday because it's hard to get hold of people. The music record goes, it stops, and people look and they go, what are those two doing here? Why are you here? But soon they're hugging and loving us because that's what we are. This project is about that. It's about us as a community. So yes, there's been a lot of no's, and
Not necessarily no's, but right.
I don't think people are necessarily ready all the time. And the cool thing is we're so different in the way we work in general that we get on both sides, and it works out well.
Have the no's become yeses?
The no's have become yeses many times, absolutely.
Go ahead.
So I have a good question for you guys. What do you feel was pulling you to do the project, and what experience of faith have you felt after being pulled into this project? Do you see that, you mentioned, Michael, that there's something bigger than us?
So, in general, years and years ago, the word access always comes to my mind. Years and years ago, it was an interesting idea to photograph priests. There was just something interesting about it way back when. Not rabbis, not imams, just priests. Interesting. Nicola had started this project, and we talked about it a little bit. And when, as I said, he had suggested, do you want to photograph the inside of the church with me? I just went, yes, that's amazing. Yes, sign me up, let's go. Let's start photographing portraits. In the middle of COVID, we had to do something in life to keep us busy. We were nuts, we were losing our mind. I mean, I remember the times we were in masks photographing portraits. It was tough, but we did it. As the second part of the question, this whole project has just helped me grow. I just literally poo-pooed other religion. I'm Jewish. Mom's Jewish, dad's Catholic. I called myself Jewish. I saw different cultures, and they weren't of what I believed, so they weren't important. That's all changed. It's everybody's important. Like I said, the word faith goes a long way, and that's what I got out of this tremendously. Can I do that? Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, I grew up in Italy, and so I was baptized Roman Catholic before I had a shade, meaning I was less than a year old when they did me in a pool of water. But like many people, I was rubbed the wrong way by all that is wrong with the history of the Roman Catholic crusades and scandals and whatnot. So I went on my own path. And so when I quit my corporate career, lived in India for a year. And I remember when I met the Dalai Lama, one of the favorite quotes I got was, if your religion rubbed you the wrong way, try not. Meaning the fundamental faith, the fundamental spiritual precepts, the fundamental truths are the same across all faiths. Has that changed for me as part of this process? I think that curiosity has always been there. I confess I approached this wearing a little bit of my Italian skeptical hat, whereby I was like, oh, I'm going to meet a lot of weird people that are doing tax evasion or all the things we read in the press. The truth is, 99% of the spiritual leaders we met throughout these 5 years are incredibly amazing individuals that are becoming friends. They're open-minded, liberal, deeply caring about their community, completely different than what I entered the project with. And so for that part, I'm deeply grateful.
As a member of this church, proudly, I saw some of your installation about a week ago, and I have to tell you, I started taking pictures and sending them to friends and family. Your photographs have such an ethereal quality that you capture in such a way that it isn't just what you see through your eyes, it is what you feel when you look at your pictures. They are amazing. And secondly, are you going to pursue having an installation at the Oakland Museum, California?
Do you have a cousin there?
I'll see if I do.
All right.
Well, we have the exhibit at City Hall, and we hope that might lead to the ONCA. We've been having a little challenge getting sit down with that, let's put it that way. But I did forget to mention, we do have a website about this project. It's oaklandfaith.com. And you can see all the portraits, upcoming shows, the audio interviews there. So check it out if you get a chance.
Well, as one of the subjects, I can tell you that it was the most interesting experience for me when they came with all the equipment just to take a few pictures of me. And I was like, do you really need all of that? You know, iPhones can take those pictures nowadays. And then they had me changed into different outfits and all the whole thing. But then I see the result, and you know, it's just, I've never seen myself that way.
iPhone can't do that.
Huh?
iPhone can't do that.
iPhone cannot do that. And then listening to the recording as well, I was telling J. Michael that I listened to my whole recording. I don't listen to my own voice ever. But he told me I needed to listen to it, so I did. And it was so interesting for me to hear how in putting together that piece, you captured sort of basically all of my social and theological thoughts. So again, it is now, so after seeing me and hearing me from your perspective, now I'm really encouraged, and I was telling them that the good thing about having the keys to this space is that I can come when nobody else is here and sit in front of each of the pictures and just listen while I take in the individuals. So my invitation is that, yes, you're not going to have the same access as I do, but please take the time when you have the opportunity to come and not only see the portraits, but listen to the voices. I did not know this, but I'm looking forward now to listening to Pastor Sylvester, is it? Who has passed away since he was photographed and recorded, and just be able to go back and listen to his story. Somebody I've never met, would never meet, never will meet either, and just listen to what he had to say about his history and experience. And it is because of the two of you that I'm going to have that opportunity. So thank you so much for your hard work and for bringing this to us. I'm not only saying us, St. Paul's, but to Oakland, and hopefully to the wider community of the Bay Area and beyond. Don't give up. If there's something church people can tell you, money's always hard to come by, but if you have faith, it will. And just keep doing what you do faithfully, and keep doing this because Oakland needs this. I'm saying Oakland because this is where we are. Oakland needs this. We are a place of history, of deep faith, not only in the Most High, but in each other, in community, we believe. And so just keep doing the hard work that you're doing. We really appreciate everything that you bring to us. Thank you so much. And as we said, there is a parallel exhibit that is going to be opening on December 10th at City Hall. That one, so the Oakland faith is the whole thing, but so here we have people of faith, and at City Hall will be places of faith. So again, that'll give us a sort of wonderful balance of things to talk about together. Friends, we have more things to drink, and we have some things to munch on. Please enjoy and continue to enjoy the exhibit. Thank you for coming today.